going live, going live. Give it a few seconds to get some people on here. Hope everybody's having a good day. It's Friday. Time for some what's your favorite horror movie quotes? Love kind of hearing what other people think of a lot of these horror movies that are out. And it's some amazing quotes. For all you guys tuning in, please hit that like button, turn around and share this, invite your friends to watch, and comment with your favorite horror movie quote. How are you doing this week, Mark?
Doing good. Getting better. Things are opening up. Excited about that.
Yeah. Have you been to the beach lately?
We just there. We're probably gonna check it out. High tide's coming in. We'll probably go check it out after this too. But we were there this morning. We're right there, so it's a big part of my life. So.
Don't you hate when you like get up and walk on the beach and like you find skulls or stuff like that?
Yeah, I have found. I think the weirdest thing that I wasn't finding something on the beach, but the weirdest thing, I was out early one morning and I'm in the fog, and at the time they would let you park right behind, like you'd have a little hill and you'd park on the hill and you'd go down the hill, hit the sand, and you'd paddle out. And back when I was young, I would get up super early to get waves, and I was out. This is a true story. I was out in the water and it was fairly big. It was like 6 foot, and I heard screaming, and I looked up, and a van had been pulled over by my car, and a girl jumped out of the car and was running down the street screaming, and a guy jumped out with another girl, and they had a syringe. They ran, injected her with something, grabbed her, threw her back in the van, and drove off. And I'm sitting in the water. There was probably about 3 of us. We're just sitting there going, what do we do? I remember, we could kind of make out the van, but we couldn't take, any type of information from it. And I remember, we went in and drove down, to a gas station, got to a payphone and made a phone call and just said, hey, told the cop what we saw. But, it was just weird to them, but they took the statement, but they didn't come down or anything. But it was the weirdest, most surreal moment in my life, because you're out in the water and waves were coming in too. I remember trying to paddle over the waves while this is going on. It was just a really surreal moment in my life. A bizarre place, and it was just odd, and it was foggy too, so that really added to it. But that was probably the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me surfing at the beach.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. One thing that always scares me is the stuff that you can find at the beach. Here's my little guard dog. He is ferocious. He will eat you up.
I have a guard rabbit somewhere around here.
Say, hey, go down and play. It said, hello, Mad Monster. Hello there, Skies. Ashley says, Angela says, hello, Angela. Clint gave us a quote. He said, mine is Phantasm Movies, Phantasm 4 movie favorite quote. This won't hurt a bit. Well, maybe just a little bit, the tall man.
This is my guard rabbit right here.
Look at that. Let me do that.
That's our house rabbit.
You got a house rabbit. That's cool.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass.
You ever wake up and he's sitting on your chest looking at you like, I'm going to get all y'all?
I snore, and if I fall asleep on the couch, he'll come up and start hitting me because he doesn't like me snoring.
Let me see. Jay said, I can't name my favorite horror movie quote. There are too many. I do like y'all. They're dead. They're all messed up.
Not a Living Dead.
Trey says, here's Johnny.
Yeah, I think that's the most famous. I was thinking, we need a bigger boat, but I think here's Johnny. we decided is probably the most famous horror movie quote there is.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the Jaws, we're gonna need a bigger boat. That's pretty good. And one of mine is I got to go return some videotapes from American Psycho, and he says that like 5 times throughout the movie. Ashley says Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning. They might not know who we are, but by God, they will remember what they did here tonight. Mark says hello. Hello, Mark. Liz says hi. Hi, Liz. Josh says his quote is, "Do I look like the kind of person who cares what God thinks?" Pinhead, Hellraiser 3. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right there. Jace's favorite quote is, "I am the way." Chip says, "You mean the movie Lied?"
That's good.
David says, "Funny, a vampire killed with his own bat." And Daddy says, "Poltergeist, they're here."
Yeah, that's pretty
They're
famous.
here. Could almost rival
Here's
the
Johnny.
We Need to Get a Bigger Boat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very classic line. Probably more so years ago when the movie first gained a lot of attraction.
Hey, last Halloween, did you see these things at CVS? These little toys?
No.
An excellent day for an exorcism. And I the devil. Now kindly undo these straps.
I was blown away when it's the actual voices, and it quotes The Exorcist, and it wiggles around. I love it. And they made 2 of them. They made that, and they made the Shining one. But the problem is they actually used the voice chips from that one. The Shining, not so much. It had nothing to do with Jack Nicholson. I guess they would have to pay for it, so they didn't. But yeah, I love that. I love anything that does movie quotes, horror movie quotes. I had a Psycho knife that when you held it, it played the theme song. That when the attack scene. I love any kind of horror things that have movie chips that have, the quotes or the music to it.
Wow. So
I'm
the
always
knife,
looking
you
at that.
held it, and it made the noise like.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh wow! I really, I need to get on eBay and see if I can find one of them.
Yeah, it's cool.
We got a lot of them coming in. Clock says I got too many of them, but the one in my head right now is "Send More Brains." Michael says horror, sci-fi, game over, man, game over.
Yeah, Bill Paxton, man. He it was his birthday a couple days ago, but he had some great quotes in Alien.
Angela said, "God, no God, 30 Days a Night." I like 30 Days a Night.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mike says his favorite slasher movie is the original Halloween.
Matter of fact,
YouTube,
that was the
easy
Boogeyman.
I Want to Kill Somebody from YouTube.
I haven't seen that one.
We're going to need a bigger boat. That's a good one, Shannon.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that well, don't you think? The Exorcist 3.
Yeah. Exorcist 3 is so good. I love that. I love The Exorcist. I love The Exorcist 3. Exorcist 2 is just, I just don't get it. It's just so bad. But, man, Exorcist 3's got some great lines in
it. Genevieve says, this is one of my favorite. Everyone goes a little mad sometimes.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And Liz says, hello, Clarice. That was iconic.
Yeah. Silence of the Lamb, that whole bit, I don't know if you know this, but I'm in a punk band and we have a song called Cadaver Dogs, and we have sound bites all the way through it from, it puts the lotion on the skin, or it gets the hose again, all the way to like, put the fucking lotion on. But I just love that whole segment that he does with the basket. And yeah, Silence of the Lambs is a great film. Love it.
The Silence of the Lambs was funny because I had a school literary assignment. They said pick any book in the world that you want to read and do an assignment on, and I picked Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris, a brilliant writer. And I turned in the book report. Actually, one of the few books I actually read when I was young and actually analyzed and gave a full effort into a nice report, turned it in, and the teacher gave me a D. And her excuse was like, nobody reads that trash.
Wow. That's
and,
horrible.
Yeah. And then when it came back to become an Oscar-nominated movie, I think it won Oscars or some awards, I said it became profitable. I said, I guess nobody cared enough about that trash book to make it into a hit movie, huh?
Wow.
That was kind of sweet revenge on her. She'd probably be proud of me right now. Tony says, so what were you going to be when you grow up?
Oh, yeah. What was that, Friday the 13th? When they're in the cabin?
I think so. And then welcome to Primetime, Biatch.
Yeah, that's great.
Here's one that damn screwdriver out of my head, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Here's a long one Josh put in. Said, this I believe in. I believe in death. I believe in disease. I believe in injustice and humanity, torture and anger and hate. I believe in murder. I believe in pain. I believe in cruelty and infidelity. I believe in slime and stink and every crawling putrid thing and every possible ugliness and corruption. You son of a bitch, I believe in you.
Yeah, George C. Scott. That's one of the greatest scenes in the world right there.
He was good as Patton.
Yeah. You know what? It's a great George C. Scott film is The Changeling. If you ever seen that one, Haunted House story. Wonderful.
It just to remind everybody watching in, if y'all could share the live feed, we're trying to get this thing going, get everybody on board so we can hang out and talk horror stuff. Reverend Kane singing up the sidewalk at Poltergeist is what Trey said. Hey, Shador. I actually named this one. I forgot about this one. I See Dead People.
Did that work for you? Did you figure it out when you were watching that movie for the first time?
I didn't figure it out the first time, and then I rewatched it. That was one of the few times that, for me, it was a twist that worked. A lot of times filmmakers try twist, they try too hard.
Yeah, you figure it out.
Don't work.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I was blown away. You know, I loved it. I loved being shocked. I'm so glad I saw it right when it came out because everybody was, giving spoilers. And if it's a spoiler, it would have wrecked it for me. But yeah, it worked for me. I love that movie. I thought it was great.
I like the other one that he did recently that kind of worked for me too was The Visit, where the kids go visit the grandparents.
Yeah, that was a good twist. I liked, what was the one where the guy plays all those personalities?
Split.
I like Split.
Yeah, and they worked it into the other movie, The Glass, Mr. Glass, and Unbreakable.
Yeah, he's a hit or a miss guy.
Yeah, he either hits it home big or he just flops it out.
Yeah,
and I like the one, The Village too. I felt like that was pretty solid. That was kind of ahead of its time a little bit.
Yeah,
but now, because he's got such a reputation for twists, now when I go into watching his movies, I know there's going to be a twist.
And you sit there and try to figure it out, yeah.
Trying to figure it out instead of enjoying the movie. Jovi says hers is No Tears, Please. It's a waste of good suffering.
That's Clive Barker is a great writer. Clive Barker doesn't scare me, but he makes me feel pain. He's the king of pain. Big fan of him.
Oh yeah, he is. It's crazy to think that he thought of all these things way back in the 70s and 80s,
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine like sitting there at the house being like, "Oh, we got a little box and these hooks come out." And
Yeah, it's pretty insane. This stuff's crazy. I love Nightbreed too. Nightbreed's a great movie.
yeah. Jay says he likes the "Children of the Corn, Children of the Night" quote from Dracula.
Love that quote. There's a couple of those quotes of that movie that I love. That and the blood Renfield. That's life. I can't remember it, but yeah, I always think of I love that scene where he's up on the staircase and the howling of the wolves, the children of the night. What music they make. It's fantastic. Dracula is fantastic movie. Hey, right there. Here he is.
Yeah. Magnified 111 said, "I want to kill somebody." Say that again. "I want to kill somebody. Let you and me go on a ride." Otis. A Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer.
I have to see that again. I haven't watched that in a long time. I remember when I saw it, it was the most disturbing thing I'd seen in a long time. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, that kind of found footage videotape scene where they go into the home invasion, that's pretty graphic and realistic. And I think that's what really set that thing off as being way too realistic.
Yeah, it was brilliant though.
Nigel says, "I don't know what the hell's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is." Clark, the thing.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite lines. I'd written that line down in case I had to pull some out of my hat. That and "You got to be fucking kidding me" when the head with the spider legs comes crawling out. Those are two great lines. Let me ask you this. Can you think, besides, I could come up with stuff from What We Do in the Shadows because they have some great movie lines in that. But is there any recent films that have quotable lines? I mean, all the quotes that we're doing are, from the 80s. There's nothing current. Is there something current out there that anyone, is there anything from, I don't know.
I got a couple of things that come to mind since you brought that up. Midsummer, or as fancy people call it, Midsummer.
Right.
They're walking by the bear and they say, "Oh, we're just going to ignore the bear in the cage." That kind of stuck with me because of things. And then The Witch, made by the same filmmaker, where it's like, she's like, "I'll be the Wicked Witch of the Woods," or some crap like that, when she's trying to spook the kids.
I like The Witch. I like Lighthouse too. I thought those were good. Wait, but is that the same person? Yeah. No, he didn't do Midsummer though. The guy that did The Witch didn't do Midsummer. He did Hereditary.
Okay, got you. I think for some reason I think they're all the same guy because they're all like, Hereditary was, for me, it was just too horrible of a slow burn. It was like he wrote the script and was like, "Let me end it real quick."
I liked it. I like the homage to Exorcist 3 and to Rosemary's Baby, and I love the head with the ants. That was a great scene for me. Midsummer I wasn't a big fan of, but I did like the one-hit wonder where the guy jumped off the cliff and broke his legs. That was a good scene.
And then you got to thank the Devil's Rejects when Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding saying, "What you don't like clowns, what we don't make you laugh."
Yeah, that's great. Love it, love it, love it.
And that I would say Otis's line about "I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work," but Rob stole that line from Tate Watson from the Manson family.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I did the remake of Helter Skelter. I was a big fan of the first one. I wasn't a big fan of the one I worked on. You want to hear it's not a horror film, but it's a quote that I did in a movie that's like my favorite quote that I've done is from Vice Academy 1 with Linnea Quigley. I'm with her, and she's supposed to be, she's an undercover cop, but she's in a porno ring, and she comes in and she busts us, and I yell, "You lied to me. You never did it with any zoo animals." That's my line. But one of the best lines I ever came up with was cut from the film. I was associate producer for Troma, and I was doing, I think it was Nukem High 3, and Ron Jeremy's the president of this nuclear power plant, and they were having us improvise, running up and pointing to him and saying, things like, because he's going to give a big speech on what we should do because the power plant's melting down. And we have extras wandering up there going, listen to him. He's the president. He'll know what to do. Another guy would run up and go, he saved us once. He'll save us again. Another one would come up to him and I go, he's our only hope. And I ran up and pointed at him and I go, he could suck his own dick. It would have been the best line in the whole movie. It got cut.
I wonder if they still got that footage, but they need to release a new cut and add that in there.
Hell yeah.
Ron Jeremy, how was he to work with?
Sweetheart. I wouldn't touch him.
Did y'all catch him in the closet anytime sucking his own pecker?
No, I know. Why does he leave his house? Yeah, but no, very nice guy.
Yeah, Ron, he's an amazing actor. I've seen several of his films. He put some people to shame. Shannon, she gave us the quote, "Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel." Patrick says, "I'll be back. I'll be right back." Angela says, "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in." The Shining. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Vincent said, "Killer clowns from outer space. What are you going to do? Knock my block off? Guy's head goes flying."
Yeah, I love that movie.
Little pig, I'll huff and puff. I'll blow your house down. I got good news and bad news. Good news is your dates are here. Night of the Creeps.
Haven't seen that in a long time. I should see that.
Angela's got one up there. The Buffalo Bill looking in the mirror. He will fornicate with himself.
Yep.
Maximum Overdrive. Hey, honey, get over here. This machine just called me an asshole. You killed him. I did not. I gave him life. Mark said, "You want to salute the pile of pus." Huh. Eric says, "When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth."
I had a metal band, and we had a song that was, "When there's no more room in hell, the dead shall rock the earth." I thought it was so witty.
Hello, Gordon. Liz says, "Stay on the road, keep clear of the moors." America Werewolf in London.
Great movie. One of my favorites.
Hell yeah, The Changeling is my favorite horror movie.
Great movie.
Angela says, "I figured it out at the dinner scene of The Sixth Sense."
No.
I wasn't smart enough.
Yeah, I always had that one friend that says, "Oh, I figured it out at the very beginning." I was like, damn it. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I, ate it.
Magnified 111 says, "Yep, I killed my mama." Eric says, "Demi, why'd you do this to me?"
It's a great scene.
Army of Darkness. First you want to kill me, now you want to kiss me, blow. Eric says, "I worry about Bev. I worry a lot." Cronenberg as Dr. Decker and Nightbreed is an incredible performance.
Brilliant movie. He's brilliant in that.
Gina says, "I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy." That's a good one.
Yep. Freddie's got a ton of them. Let's face it. He's got some. I mean, that thing was written for one-liners.
Yeah. You guys ever fantasize about being killed? No, I do not. Jesus wept, Uncle Frank.
Yeah, that's my favorite short saying.
Corruption, thou art my father, Josh the witch. Of course, they're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, I love that.
Bill Moseley did good in the remake with that quote.
Oh, thank you.
I liked him as the performance of Barber's brother.
I love Bill Moseley and everything. I think he's brilliant. I wish he'd work more.
Wish that I liked to live deliciously.
The Witch. Black Phillip.
He's already has Ed Hardy. He already has. What was that? The Boogeyman? As a matter of fact, it was.
The Boogeyman.
I am the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's work.
There we go. Cool.
Yeah, I really like the change that they made from House of a Thousand Corpses to the Devil's Reject with how Otis looked. I didn't like that whole whited out Otis. It almost felt like he was in the band The Ghost or something like that.
I got to go to the Rat Party because I did the shootout at the Firefly Ranch, and it was a small little Mexican restaurant in Hollywood, and there was hardly anybody there. This is for House of a Thousand. I mean, this is for Devil's Rejects. I'm sorry, and I got to act like Rob was very accessible. So I'm a horror squid. So I'm hitting him like his favorite horror films, like his favorite horror movie. He told me at the time was Frankenstein, which I thought was really cool. And then I was working with Billy Bob Thornton, and he told me that he always wanted to tell Forrest Ackerman that when he played his character Sling Blade, that he used Frankenstein monster as his image, and that he always wanted to tell Forrest Ackerman that before he died. He was a big fan of Famous Monsters, but never got to meet him. But I thought that was so cool. I loved, these icons. I love just walking up and they love talking about horror films, But I thought those were two kind of weird parallels. But they're both really into Frankenstein.
Yeah, I like Billy Bob Thornton. Was he pretty nice?
Oh my God, I have such a man crush on him. He's such a great guy. I did the pickup shots for Bad Santa, and he loved the fact that I was in a punk band. He had his assistant send me a CD with signed by the whole band. But whenever he'd take a cigarette break or whatever, he'd grab me and we would just talk about horror movies and punk rock, and I love that. I could do that forever. But he was just such a wonderful guy to work with. He was just. Well, it's always a privilege to work with people like that genuinely are brilliant and just want to be, they're just people persons. But Billy Bob Thornton is a great person to work with.
Let me see what we got here. Christina says a boy's best friend is his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony says Jesus Wept.
Jesus Wept's always a good one.
You call that a knife? This is a knife from Wolf Creek, but I thought that was Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, does he repeat that? That's not a knife. This is a knife. They probably making fun of it.
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek was good.
Chris says if you're going to start the killing, you must start it here. Make sure I'm good and dead, or I'll come back and make you my bitch. Captain Spaulding.
Sid Haig, ladies and gentlemen.
We Made You, Maximum Overdrive.
I had a run-in with Sid Haig. I was doing a movie called House of the Dead 2, and I don't know if I've ever told this story but I had a retractable syringe that cost $800, and for some reason he put the liquid in a weird way, and it wouldn't retract, and he took the $800 syringe and he goes, "This thing doesn't fucking work," and threw it across the room and busted it right in front of everybody. And then he like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break it?" And I go, "Yeah, you broke it." We had to fake the rig, the whole bit. But as much as I love Sid Haig, that was my first introduction to him, was him breaking one of my props.
That's crazy. Sometimes Dead is better. Angela, that's a good one.
That's a real good one. Fred Gwynn.
There's something wrong with me, Slither. I'm going through. Sony, your mother ate my dog. Hey, Sony, how you doing? Thanks for tuning
Hey,
in.
Sony.
You got to come out here with us one night, Sony.
Should have her dance.
My dear elves live wherever they want, dolls.
That's a movie I haven't seen forever.
Yep, when there's no more room in hell, several people's mentioned that.
I had the Crew shirt, and I had that on the back, and I wore that every time I played. I love that T-shirt so much.
Mike Mark said this is for you, Damien. It's all for you from the Omen. I like that.
That's a great scene. I love that scene.
Sony says she's doing good.
Good.
Here's one from The Shining. Wendy, darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm gonna bash your brains in, bash them right the F in.
Yeah. I love that movie.
You know, when you mentioned Freddie, you know, it was like, it seemed like before Freddie, nobody really talked. And he was the first one that really kind of came out and had a lot to say, which was shocking because it was like, if you were a killer, you were going to be like Jason, Michael, you were going to be silent, just, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
But he's got some good lines.
Yeah, he has great lines.
I've been trying to think of more recent stuff, and there's really nothing that is as iconic as some of our older horror movies.
Yes.
It's hard to beat. Even when they do remakes, they try to replicate these lines, and it's hard to go back after the original actor and say some of these things.
Yeah, it's so iconic.
I mean, because you're never going to have another Stanley Kubrick and Jack Nicholson shoot again.
Yeah.
You know, we did.
What about It? Does he have some good lines?
I kind of think so, but technically, you know, that you'll float down here, but that's
it's old. That's it's from the the book and TV show.
And to really be honest and not to be mean, and I say this because I believe filmmakers in the horror genre need to up their game up, and studios need to up their investment in independent horror, but they're really not making iconic horror movies.
No, it's cookie cutter kind of stuff. It's gonna, the next great horror film is gonna be us making some low budget, down and dirty, but something new and cool and creepy. You know, I mean, when they do big budget, it's good, it's great. Like The Exorcist, The Shining, Changeling. Those are great big budget films. But now it's all, Blumhouse is it's all them, and it's cookie cutter. They have a technique to it, and it's just, it's okay. It's just not brilliant. We need something brilliant.
I mean, I like Blumhouse, but I don't love them. I like them as that. I'm grateful they're making movies, because if Blumhouse wasn't, then I don't know where we would get horror movies from. But I don't think that they're tapped in and pushing the limit on, one, profitability, and two, creativity. And I think those can go hand in hand. I think one night we ought to do a live and kind of expose how films are really made and how Hollywood really works.
I'm all for it.
We got a lot of quotes coming in. Sarah says, beat Richie.
Yeah, that's it.
Welcome, Sarah. Thanks for watching. Liz says, this is the emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge. At the siren, all emergency services will be suspended for 12 hours. Your government thanks you for your participation.
You know, when the Purge first came out, they did an escape room, and it was the most brilliant escape room I've ever been in. And we made it all the way through the thing, and outside you could hear, the purge. Oh, the thing was you had to escape out of this place before the purge started, because the guy can't legally kill you until the purge starts. Then he's going to come in and kill you. So we're in this. It's these. Unit trailers backed up to each other, and we're going through it, and the mazes were amazing, and the clues were really difficult, but we made it all the way to the end. And they had said, and outside then, the purge will start in 5 minutes, the countdown, you could hear it, and the alarms and stuff. And so it was really intense. And they kept saying like a saying when when you're in line, and they had like these little commercials, and it was that saying that was the code to get out of the room. And so we got there, and we can't get it. And I remember the lights all go black, and the purge will start in 10, 9, 8, and the room goes black. And I remember Angela grabbing me and holding me. We just kind of like, what's going to happen? And the door flies open, and the guy's got a shotgun, and they didn't use blanks or anything, but they do sound effects and bright lights, and he just starts blowing you away. And it was the greatest escape room I've ever been in, and it was the first one I ever did. And it was for the movie. It was a great publicity thing, I thought.
Here's another one. I'm in memory of the late great Sid Haig. Did I stutter, bitch? Welcome to prime time, bitch. Yep. Do you read Stutter Kane? Good one, Tony. Good one.
Haven't seen it in a long time.
Hey, now they've all been that bad. I enjoyed the Saw franchise. I did enjoy Saw. I'll say this when people stand in my way. Christina says, hey, everybody. Hey, Christina. Hope you guys are doing good. Richard said Bloomhouse is okay. Bill says, I can fly higher than the eagle. You're the wind beneath my wings. Richard said he produced a film called The Blood Hunter starring Tim Quinn and Danny Hicks. I love it. I love independent films. But my thing is if you go make an independent film, and I push myself on this, and other people, my friends, is make a good one. Make a good one. It goes, not cry, cry.
Wow, that's an oldie but a goodie.
Robert Rodriguez. Have you ever worked with anybody from his camp?
Mm-mm. Nope. I like him though. The closest I ever worked with Quentin Tarantino is I was shooting a TV show called Dead to Me, and they were shooting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood right next to us, and he was there, but I never worked with him. I'd love to. Any of those guys.
Yeah, Richard, message us about that, and we'll see what we could do. Clint said, quote, the Saw is family. Yep. Relola says, I wonder if that's why horror movies are being remade, because they capture the essence of what made the originals amazing. But sometimes, she's like, but sometimes they fall short.
Yeah.
I kind of like Platinum Dunes when they were doing remakes. They weren't horrible. They weren't great, but like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Platinum Dunes remakes were a unique reboot. I kind of like that. And plus, it had Gunnery Sergeant in there. I can't believe we lost him, too. He was a great actor.
I love him in Frighteners.
Tony said the next crap that comes out of your mouth better be some real Mark Twain shit, because it's going to go on your grave. And Liz says, I'm rooting for the crocodile. I hope he swallows your friends whole, Lake Placid.
I work with Betty White. I love her. Everybody loves her. She's the nicest woman in Hollywood. Love her.
Yep. I'm gonna want to show everybody something here.
I used to work with that director a lot too on television shows. I can't even think of. He was the producer of Friday the 13th. Oh my God, I can't think of it.
It,
Can I think of his name?
I posted this today on Facebook and asked everybody what movie this is, but I wanted wrong titles only. Wrong titles only.
I put Thor.
I saw that. That cracked me up. So everybody watching this, I want you to comment, share the live feed because we got to spread the word, and comment and let us know what you think the title of this movie should be, but it's the wrong title. Mark put Thor. We had Katie said Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Amy said The Sound of Music.
Nice.
Scott said Becoming a Man, One Boy's Journey Through the Age of Innocence. Natalie said hello. Hello, Natalie. Clint said They Live. You got red on you, Shaun of the Dead.
That's a good one.
Gina says 50 First Dates. Liz says Slaughterhouse Rules.
Nice.
Natalie said Brokeback Mountain.
Oh my God.
I can't quit you. Kevin said What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
That's good.
Aubrey said this goes back to your trauma days, The Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
Behind the Music, Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer.
Yeah, nice.
Richie said When Harry Hammered Sally. Chris said Safe Use of Power Tools. Silence of the Lambs, The Hunt for Lotion. Joe said I Was Born to Murder the World. Inbreed, Mark, that's a good one. A Farewell to Arms. Rowena said 50 Shades of Grey. That'd be a weird kinky 50 Shades of Grey. Liz says Hard Candy. That's a good one. Brains, Chains, and Automobiles. Matt said Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. You said the Alabama Hammer Slammer. Steve says Men Alone 2, The Kentucky Connection. John says Spaceballs 2, We've Been Jammed Again. Cameron says How to Lose a Guy in 90 Days, or in 10 days. Smokey and the Bandit, Dazed and Confused. Hadley says Natural Born Killers. And Liz says About a Boy. And somebody said Son of the Mask. Judah says Face Off. I mean, I think that was pretty good. We got a lot of good comments on that. A Man with a Thousand Faces, not a movie but a home improvement show. The Odd Couple, Jacqueline Hyde. We're going to start doing those more often on the Mad Monster Facebook page. So if you like seeing more stuff, be sure you got your alerts turned on and you've liked the page, and invite your friends to like the page and spread the word. I wanted to share something. I'm try to share this real quick. Yep. This is the Mad Monster YouTube page. And on the YouTube page, we have the Justice League, a new parody trailer for the Snyder Cut.
It's very funny.
And I'm going to do a giveaway. I'm going to send whoever goes and subscribes to the Mad Monster YouTube page and leaves a comment on the Snyder Cut trailer. Leave a comment Sergeant Horror. And within 24 hours of this post closing out, if you've watched it this far, get on there. Get on the YouTube, comment Sergeant Horror on the Snyder Cut page and on the Snyder Cut video. And I'll pick someone randomly and do a prize package. Mad Monster Sergeant Horror crazy prize, surprise. It won't be no body parts. It won't be nothing that's too crazy, but it'll be something you'll really enjoy. Really want you guys to come out and check this out on the YouTube. It's funny. What did you think, Mark, of the news about the Snyder Cut coming out?
I'm excited about it. Everybody says how good it is. I want to see if it is. But I think I want to see it. There's been a lot of hype about it, so I think it should be interesting.
Yeah, and it blows my mind away because like a month ago, people were trolling everybody and each other about whether or not the Snyder Cut actually existed. It had amazed me how something like that people get so passionate about. I'm like, if it's out there and they think they're gonna make money off of it, they'll release it. And sure enough, HBO Max.
Hell yeah! Right now, release whatever you can, buddy.
Yeah, because really nobody's filming nothing. I noticed too. You had the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. That was yesterday, and if you go to madmonster.com, we got a pretty good article on there from Levi Tinker, our Star Wars, Star Trek expert, on that. I think you did a special live feed with him with some beers around the world, didn't it?
I tried to. The guy drank. I started drinking with the guy, and I realized this ain't gonna happen. I was probably 5 Epcot locations, and I was like, I'm out. I was staggering. So I had to get a ride home to sober up to take off, and it was probably the first maybe 2 hours of his live. The guy can drink. The guy can drink. He drank me out on the table. But it was fun.
Have you ever did that at Epcot?
No, I haven't. I've never done
I ain't either. I might have to go out and try that.
Yeah.
But, go to madmonster.com. Tons of stories on there. We're adding more daily. Your latest news and horror, sci-fi, any type of creepy. If it's creepy and nerdy, we try to get it on there. We got some great stories by Mark. I love that story about the voodoo doll.
I have to write something new. I have something I've been writing for you. I got some behind the scenes stuff. I got to get it to you.
Angela says, "Can I borrow some eggs? Funny Games."
You ever watch that movie? You ever see Funny Games?
The name sounds familiar, but I'm trying to remember what it is.
If you like Portrait of a Serial Killer, you'd like it. Just 2 guys like wander into a house and just torture the family, but it's done really well. Good.
What have you been watching this week?
I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. I love that show more than anything.
It got renewed.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I'm so stoked. I love that show. Been doing a lot of classic films. Watched Creature of the Black Lagoon and watched Dracula. I tend to just watch them over and over and over again. I watched Cabin in the Woods. I love that. What else did I watch? Can't think of what else. I'm sure. I don't know. Been watching horror films.
You've been watching this week. I've been watching a few things. I like watching because we don't have fancy homes in the country here, but I like watching that $1 Million List in New York and LA. That comes on. I watched the first 48. I was rewatching Friday the 13th Part 3.
Steve Miner is the producer of Friday the 13th, and I think I don't know if he directed 3 or not, but I work with him a lot. He also did Lake Placid. He's a good friend of mine, and I hate the fact I couldn't remember his name. Steve Miner does a lot of TV shows, so I don't get to work horror films. I get to watch TV shows with him.
What you said? What TV show did you say he did?
I was doing a ABC Family show called Switched at Birth with him, but like he was the producer of Friday the 13th Part 1, and I think but he also did Halloween H2O. He does Lake Placid. He's done a lot of great horror films, and there was a scene in Switched at Birth where it's supposed to be Halloween night, and these 3 kids are chasing one of our stars, and I made sure that one had a Jason mask, one had a Michael Myers mask, and one, I think the other film he did was a Scream, so they all had the masks on, and I didn't get any kind of permission, and we shot it and got away with it, but it was all homage to him because he either directed or produced one of those films, if not all of them.
Yeah, I like Part 3. It was so weird. See, when you see Jason with such a clean mask.
Right.
Sony said she's seen both Funny Games, the first one and the remake.
Yeah, they're good. The French film's really good.
So what were you going to be when you grew up, Billy, on Friday the 13th?
Was it Part 6? It was, because I said 4, but it was 6. Yeah.
The classics are awesome, like Hammer, kind of. Yep. Classics are good. You play a game, boy, but when the game is finished, now you die. I mean, what would you say is your favorite quote?
I couldn't quote it. It might be the scene in The Exorcist, and when they brought back the footage, the uncut footage, the scene where the 2 priests are sitting on the stairs, and they're talking about the younger priest is asking, "Why would the devil do this?" And I can't remember. I should have wrote it down because I knew you'd probably ask that, but I just remember that scene and how just eloquently he explained Satan, and I thought, wow, that was really good. And it's just a really ominous scene. If you watch The Exorcist, get that take, but watch that scene. It's really good. That's probably one of the best scenes with dialogues, but the lines that I think I love the most. I mean, yeah, I think that's it. What about you, Sergeant?
I was trying to think because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my favorite movie, but it's not really the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not really a line in there that just I really like. I really kind of think the American Psycho, and I got to go return some videotapes. But if we talk about my favorite quote from all movies, I can't quote it word by word, but I like Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's sitting there and they asked him what does he want to do or whatever. I forget what they asked him, and he's like, kill the enemy and take their women and that kind of thing. I forget that. I can't believe I forgot it. Any other time I could mention it, but that's my favorite one of all movies.
There's also a line in the original Haunting, which I always bring up when we talk, where they talk about seeing ghosts, and they always say there's always movement, but you have to see it in the corner of your eyes. And I just love that line too. You see them, but in the corner of your eyes. And it was just a really creepy ass statement.
Henry says, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Right.
I'm running this show, Frankenstein. What the F are you doing? Wasting my time from Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Clint says, mine is the word boy. Yep. Yeah. Tall man.
Yeah.
And Phantasm, I don't know about you, Bart, but Phantasm was such a weird movie for its time.
Yeah. Are those Jawas running around? Were they not Jawas that were running around, the little guys?
And they had a red planet.
Yeah.
And that sphere that
just awesome. I love it.
It's like, what in the world? Greg says, that's Justice of the Peace died screaming. Liz looked it up, said, crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
Wow.
That's my favorite one of all times. The Evil Dead movies, groovy.
All right.
And Bruce Campbell's pretty much breaking the internet these days with the ladies with his COVID-19 bearded face.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I hear the ladies out there. I see all y'all's Facebook pages and Instagram pages lusting after old Bruce Campbell. He looks different now with the beard.
I'm here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubble gum from They Live. That's a great one.
Michael says he crushed my enemy. Yep, he looked that up. Appreciate that, Michael. I don't like your eyes, Helga. They see too much.
Killer, mommy, killer. Friday the 13th.
That was a very, when you first saw that, did you see the twist that it was the mama?
No. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see that coming at all. That was a great twist. It was really surprising.
Now the thing that gets me, we're gonna have to break this down and analyze this one night because I like doing what ifs. Because people, people's telling me, they're like, oh, why do you do what ifs? You kind of being like, we got the word that Kane Hodder, in my opinion, would make the perfect Leatherface in this remake. Did a story on it. It's on madmonster.com. He's in shape and fit, and guys can call him. I'm like, what if Pamela Voorhees didn't die if she raised Jason in the woods and they were a killing team? We got to discuss some what ifs because that would be a mother-son killing team.
I didn't mean to call you Meatloaf, Jack. Miracle. I love that one.
Matt says, I've been guarding my gate for a long time, bitch. Natalie said, Phantasm scared the crap out of him as a kid.
It was weird.
Shop smart, shop S smart.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Look at what you did to the Goldrum door, boy.
It's alive.
Sarah says, no more wire hangers.
Yeah.
What's some other ones you got, Mark?
Let's see. I got a lot of the stuff we've said. A best friend's, a boy's best friend is his mother. They're here. Poltergeist. We said, my mom and dad are gonna be so pissed off at me. Remember, my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me. I love that scream. Wow, it's like a drug. Wearing these glasses, you take them, you get high, but when you come down when they really hard. When they talk about wearing the glasses and they live.
That was a good movie, right?
Yeah,
Rodney Piper.
What a lovely Infernexus. That's what my little doll says over here. Game over. Yeah, everybody's pulled, Yeah, every one of my lists, somebody's already said. Everybody's really good.
David says, "Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you," from Hellraiser.
Right.
Matt said, "Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell."
Right. I make birthday cards like that.
Barb says, "This is my boomstick." Liz brought up a one that I'm surprised nobody has brought up. Red Rum.
Red Rum.
Natalie says, "Obey." And I want you guys to continue to comment on this and everything. So, you got anything on what's on your list to watch this week coming up?
Oh my God. I'm kind of in the mood for the Changeling. And I mean, whenever we have these things, people bring up like Night of the Creeps. I want to see. Somebody brought that up. I want to see that. I want to see Phantasm again. I haven't watched it in a long time. I mean, you probably have like stacks of DVDs too. It's funny because if The Shining's on television, I'll sit there and watch it with commercials. But I have like 3 versions of it that I could watch it, on DVD. But,
it's almost like every Tuesday I used to look forward to Tuesday and be like, "Oh, some new movies is coming out." But the last year or so, not crap's come out that's really got me excited.
Yeah. When's Creepshow coming? The second season supposed to start?
I'm not sure. I've been tempted to try the new Jordan Peele Twilight Zone.
Haven't watched it.
They had a Stanley Kubrick reference. You can read about it on MadMonster.com in the trailer for season 2. That's a pretty good reference to Jordan Peele. He's going to be one like that M. Night Shyamalan. It's either going to be a huge hit or it's going to kind of bomb.
Hit or miss, yeah.
He's got a great eye. I got to give him that. The imagery and the Easter eggs, because I mean, you look at Us, they're on the Santa Cruz boardwalk and they're filming the Lost Boys there in the movie. It's kind of in the background Easter egg for that.
Yeah, no, that's a cool move.
He's good at Easter eggs. I mean, Santa Cruz is a cool place. I mean, I really like Santa Cruz. It has a lot of homeless people in the city there back when I went.
I have a Santa Cruz story. You want to hear it? I'll see if I can spit it out real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. We ain't in no rush.
I used to surf competition, WSA, and whenever we'd go anywhere, we'd get a room, but everybody from your team and stuff, because we're surfers. We didn't have any kind of money, and there was probably about 6 of us staying in one room, and we'd sleep on the floor as if they had a couch or whatever. And this guy comes, one of them, Chuck Vermillion, comes into the room, and we're looking at him, and he's like, "White as a ghost." And I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" And he's going, like, "This creature came to the door." And we're like, "Shut up, we're throwing shit at him. Just go to bed, And all of a sudden the door flew open, and the girl looked like the girl from the remake of Dawn of the Dead. She's standing, and her hair is wild, and she's probably 6 years old, and she's going, and you have all these surfer guys just clamoring to the back window, trying to climb out the back. We're scared the living shit out of us. And the mother comes in and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. She saw you go into the room. She's a little excited right now." And she takes her out of the room and shuts the door. And we're sitting there just scared out of our mind by this little 6-year-old. But Santa Cruz is that way. It's such a weird place. It's beautiful, but it's weird. But it was that was a wacky story from my old surfing days.
So you kind of hung me up on like you did surfing competitions.
I was a West Coast surfing champion in 1979. I got to leave that 1979 out. I should just say I was a West Coast surfing champion. Yeah, but
so you get on the board and paddle out there in the ocean and jump on top of it and ride it in.
I used to tear it up. I'm hurting right now, but yeah, I used to.
Now, I mean, I'm assuming you've watched, because I'm going to ignore that they remade the movie, because they never should have damn remade the movie.
Point Break.
Point Break. Is it like that? Is it like soothing being out there on the water and waiting for the wave to come in?
I mean, you're out in the water. Usually, if you can find a place where it's not crowded. If it's crowded, you're at war. You know, you're fighting with people. You're trying to get the wave. They're trying to get the wave. So you're at war. You're fighting. I mean, there's local surfers are psychotic, and they're evil. There's a thing called tiny bubbles that they would do in Hawaii. They paddle up to you, grab your head, and shove you in the water until the bubbles start getting smaller and smaller. So that whole hippie vibe for surfing, I grew up after that. We were, and in no way racist, but we were surf Nazis. That's what they called us, because we were very localized and stuff like that. So it's not soothing, but there is times when you're by yourself, you're sitting out in the water, you know, and dolphins go by, or you know, that you can meditate, you can sit there and think. But when you're surfing with other surfers, it's a very aggressive sport, and in no way hippy dippy like a lot of times people make it sound. But you know, I'm at that age. You know, I have a longboard. I don't fight with anybody anymore. You know, it's just nice. I enjoy it. You know, but yeah, there's nothing. It's better now. Not, you know, now it's a different way of surfing. But when I was surfing competition, it was a very aggressive sport. I loved it. I love surfing.
I've never, as you can tell, I've never been, much less I never even thought. If you tell me I'd be sitting on here live with the West Coast surfing champion, I wouldn't believe you.
I've surfed. You're in North Carolina, right?
Right.
Yeah, I've surfed Hatteras in South Carolina. I did a contest in the Hatteras, and it was a really good wave. I really like surfing there. But how far away is I don't know the difference from North Carolina, South Carolina.
4.5 hours from Hatteras, but I don't know. If I ever went to the beach, I was always looking at the ladies and saying, hey. But I have been to Santa Cruz. I was surprised that that bridge where they filmed The Lost Boys was not as big as they make it out in the movie.
But, you know, Santa Cruz was the serial killer capital of the world at one time.
I have no comment on that. I have not involved in anything in Santa Cruz. I just ate at Taco Bell, saw some people come back.
When I was doing a remake of a 1001 Maniacs with Robert Englund. He was the surf film Big Wednesday. He's the narrator of that surf film, and it's just funny because you know that voice is Freddy Krueger, and I always wanted them to do a scene where the guy's a surfer and he knows that if he falls asleep, Freddy Krueger will get him. So he paddles out at the pier one night to stay awake, to be there, and he starts nodding off on his board, and sure enough, you know, you could have the glove go by like a shark fin, you know, and the fact that Robert Englund surfs, just to have the guy drop down and have Freddy drop down surf. I've always wanted him to do it, like a surfing Freddy Krueger. I would love that.
Maybe you ought to give him a call and
Robert Englund starred in 1001 Maniacs, and we talked about it. I go, you got to do that, but nah, never came. But I did try to push that on him.
If we could do a fan film like that, me and you.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, great. I know some pretty good directors. I like producing. I like producing better than directing, to be honest with you. You know, a working producer, not one of these, they give you a producer credit and you never on set. Right.
You brought coffee to the director one time, you get a producer credit.
Yeah, I think we ought to see if we could get some traction for that. Do like a fan film with a Kickstarter and all that GoFundMe or whatever these kids do. See if we can talk Robert into it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a stunt guy, but it'd be great to have Robert's voice in there, doing it. So.
Tell him it's a stunt
Yeah.
guy. Don't shh.
Sorry.
We green screen it all. That would be cool. We could just green screen a lot of it, so that would save a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
If they do T-shirts, kind of like Charlie Don't Surf, do Freddie Don't Surf.
Yeah, or Freddie does surf. Locals only, and have Freddy Krueger. Yeah, I like that with a board and his gloves. I like
Did
that.
you ever have any interaction with the aquatic life, like a shark or anything like that?
Angela and I were talking about one time. I'm sitting there, and a wave was coming in, and dolphins were jumping in the wave. And so I paddled, and as soon as I stood up, a dolphin jumped, and the way it jumped, it didn't jump like with its back to me. It jumped and turned to look at me. I could have reached over and flapped its fin. They're all over the place. I've never been bitten by a shark, but I've been stung like 3 times now with a stingray. Angela was knocked over by a great white. The white was coming down the beach. He got hit by a wave, was looking for a seal that it had bitten. And in front of everybody, the shark bumped into her and she went down. I thought she was dead, but it just bumped her. And as soon as they got her out of the water, they put signs everywhere to get everybody out of the water because whites are there. We have a lot of whites where I live, but we've never had in Southern California where I live a great white attack. But we do have a lot of them out there.
When you said you had a lot of whites where you live, I was like, I'm hoping he's talking about the shark.
Yeah. Men in gray suits.
Deep rubbings. What the hell is that? I think you pissed it off the blah.
That's a good movie.
Angela brings a good point. Since Freddie's already burnt, he's got to wear some good sunscreen. But next time you run into Robert, bring him up to him. We could socially distance and film something like that with a green screen. You could be the surfer. And,
no, I wouldn't be the surfer. I'm too old for that. We need some younger guy for that type
or
of
maybe
stuff.
we get a voluptuous young lady and a guy, so we have something for the men and the women.
I would love to get some hot, surfer chick. They're tearing it up now.
Yeah, I've never had a desire to do that. When I was in Santa Cruz, I saw people out there surfing. I'll tell you what's a crazy place in California, I think, is Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco.
Never been there.
Oh, my goodness. It's like, even when I went, way past the 60s, when Jerry Garcia and them was there, it was crazy. But even now, I feel like it has that hippie vibe still. That neighborhood stays true to its wild party life, rebellion thing. Have you ever been up to Yosemite?
Yeah, when I was younger. Yeah, it's beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah, we went to Yosemite, that Half Dome Rock. People crazy. They climbed that thing.
Yeah.
That thing's huge. You couldn't pay me no money to climb no huge. 2 things I probably would never do is climb a huge ass rock and swim my butt out into the ocean on a board, because that would probably be a tasty treat for a shark. But my hat's off to you, because that looks like surfing looks like something super hard. I mean, how long were you doing it before you caught on and you could stay on the board?
Well, if you got to start young, and when you're young, you're going to start off in the white water. You're going to have a big board. You're going to be able to, it's easy. It's the trick is catching a wave and hopping up and stuff like that. It takes a good 2 years to get to a point where you can surf okay. But if you get into it and surf a lot, it becomes it just becomes commonplace for you. You know how to do it. You just hop up after a while. But it takes a while. You got to put a lot of and when you're young doing it, it's okay. When you're older doing it, it's difficult because you're a kook and you feel embarrassed, and you gotta you don't know what you're doing. You're splashing around. That's the reason why surfing is the kind of sport you really need to start when you're young. So anyone from Huntington Beach, don't start now because it's too crowded out there anyway right now.
Now, when you were competing in the championships and all, I know this is off of our topic, but it just fascinates me. How often would you surf during when you were competing? Like every day, multiple times a day?
Every chance I got. I was working my dad had a pawn shop, but I worked at the pawn shop and I worked for Randula Surfboards on Fifth Street. And every chance I got, I surfed. That's all I did. That's all I wanted to do. To be honest with you, I should have just did that. I should have just, because I loved it so much, and I still do. I still love surfing right now, but I'm so jacked up right now because my knees are all bashed in and stuff that I'm having a really hard time surfing. I need another surgery, but I wish they did there's a couple good surf horror films. We got that. What was that shark film? That was a good one.
Sharknado?
No, it's a good one. It's where this girl goes to a local spot, and there's like these two other surfers out there, and a shark's eating them up. It was a good shark surf film. I'd love to do a surf film like cannibals. They go to an island to get some surf, and there's cannibals there or something. I'd love to see something like that.
Yeah, because surfing would be a way they take a boat out to an island and they're going to surf off that island and they're camping. People start chopping them up.
Yep.
That would be a way to take a crew out and socially distance it.
That's true. I'd love that.
Clint says it's all about balance boarding, balance surfing. And Angela said that movie
The Shallows. Oh yeah, okay. Thank you, Angela.
But anyway, we'll go jump off here. Anything you want to close with, Mark?
No, I once again enjoyed. That was fun. I really want to do something creepy. Go somewhere, do some, haunted or something. Let's see if we can find something in the future. But I had a good time talking. And thanks everybody for joining in. I really enjoyed that, and everybody had really great quotes for us, which I was very impressed with. It was really good.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry I dove off into the surfing thing, but it just fascinates me that that amount of balance and getting out there in that water like that. That's just crazy, But it seems like it could be fun if you did it right away. Michael says, "Thank you guys. Have a good Memorial Day weekend." You too, Michael. We appreciate all you guys to watch. We appreciate you guys' support. Invite your friends to like the page. Don't forget to give away and go to the YouTube channel and comment on the trailer. Comment Sergeant Horror, and we'll pick somebody and give away a prize. Tell your friends about the live feed, and you guys have a good Memorial Day weekend. Watch more horror movies. When you're not watching horror movies, you should be sleeping. And after you sleep a few hours, you should wake your butt up and watch more horror movies. But check us out on madmonster.com. Mark, I'll see you next week. We'll get together again if you're not busy.
Enjoy doing it, man. I do this every time. I'm all for it.
Well, y'all guys take care. Sergeant Horror and Mark from Mad Monster. We're out.
See ya.